you have a particular spiritual practice other than attendance in church that holds meaning for you?
Prayer.
So you pray. Do you pray for things? Do you pray for understanding? What do you pray for?
I pray for, my prayer is mostly rooted in praying for wisdom.
So the 11th step. It's really closely related to the 11th step.
Yeah.
Seeking God's will for you and the power to carry that out.
Basically.
Is there some introductory, entry-level, non-threatening spiritual practice that you can recommend that might help break that logjam for them?
You know, I would just say to them, find service. You know.
So find somewhere to be of service to someone or something.
Something you love, something that is dear to your heart, and find service and begin to express yourself to that love channel. And I think that as you serve others, the expression of who we really are as vessels of the Creator really, you know, allow us to express Yahweh in a way that...
Why should they be of service to something other than themselves?
Because it's the greatest, you know, service is the greatest expression of love that one can have, is to serve others. If you serve yourself only, you're not really expressing love.
Right. Well, just self-love, but...
You know what I'm saying? And so you're not really expressing the full measure of what love is. And so if love is the motive, if you want to express it, then the best way you can do that is through service of others.
And what might they get out of it or experience? Both. Try to speak to each of them individually. What
right,
could
and
they
so and so what you get in return, is a reward that is really hard to describe. It's a fulfillment of the void that I believe that all humanity has. That we keep looking for something, and when you begin to serve others, it bounces back in a way, because it returns to you through various channels. It may not even come from that person or
organization or whatever
that you serve, but the fulfillment you get back is indescribable. You cast your bread upon the waters, and it returns to you for a loaf, is what the scripture says. And water is an analogy of people. So, like, if I place the thing that I tithe into people, whether that's my time, my talents, my
energy, your love.
Right. So when I tithe that into a person, I sow it into them. It returns to me in a full measure. And it's expressed in different ways. And that's why service is so important to our society. If people serve, that's why the American Serve Act that is so important right now. You know, and we got...
Tell us what that is.
Exactly. So and people who understand the heartbeat of it.
Well, what is the American Serve Act? Someone who's not heard of it, what is it?
Oh, it's a legislation that was passed by the federal government to create opportunities of service and put funding behind it, like the AmeriCorps program is funded underneath that.
Great. That umbrella.
Yeah. So it's an important piece of legislation for our society because, you know, it demonstrates that, you know, it is an acknowledgement of what service can do. And that's why the AmeriCorps program here for the Weingarten Center Association is so important, because I mean, when you see people who were formerly homeless placed in an environment where they just served for a period of 10 months, and you see them later, it's transforming.
It's like they're not the same human being.
They're not. They're absolutely not.
Their name may still be John Smith, but they're not John Smith anymore.
At all. At all.
If you knew that you could not fail, if I could give you an ironclad 100% guarantee of success for your next project, what would you attempt?
I would build my own permanent supportive housing units underneath my nonprofit.
Kind of like Skid Row Housing Trusts. Kind of like what they do.
I would do my own.
But similar to it.
Yes, I would build my own. I would, if I could lead a Weingart and step all the way in full-time ministry and do it, and that's what I would do. If I could lead the Weingart today with guaranteed success of leaving this place to have an income and take care of my family and do everything that I need to do and still be of service, I would leave today and step
into that. Tell us, for those of us who don't know what supportive housing is, what does that mean?
Permanent supportive housing and the services that are around it is providing the basic human right for a person, that they have a right to housing first, and then placing the services that they need to stay in that housing around them. That's the short end of it.
Let's pretend for a moment that all of humanity, all 7 billion of us, are going to watch this video. What would you say to us?
Let's get it together, you guys. We have really been disjointed for too long. It's time for us to put our differences to the side and agree that humanity is worth us putting those differences to the side. We have people on our streets that are dying. We have people that we don't even see in our families anymore. Let's stop working for nothing and let's start working for something.
If I could give you any superpower, either one that you've heard of or one that you make up right now, which one would you request of me?
I would want the superpower of words to bring transformation. When I spoke and people heard my word, that word
would ring their bell.
Would ring every time that I would want if I open my mouth to speak, then it would cause the environment to change.
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is probably the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
All 3 of them.
All 3 of them. I can sit and
Why?
watch. I just love the expression, the battle. I love movies that...
The battle between good and evil.
I absolutely love them. And I love the magical competing of it. I mean, I always have as a child. So, yeah, I love that kind of realm. And then I love the undertone that is conveyed in that with the battle of good and evil, but the spiritual component. So, it's a great novel.
Who are your heroes?
My wife.
Why?
She is probably one of the greatest, most compassionate people. She loved me when I had nothing. She met me in the mission.
When you feel like you didn't deserve to be loved.
Yeah, my wife is probably my greatest hero. For real. I love her. My mom is close with my wife. And my sisters, too. I think my sisters are...
For the same reason, or...?
No, my mom, because she never gave up on me. And she was always there for me, so she is one of my greatest heroes. And then my sisters, because they endure. Their spirit of endurance is something that I admire greatly in both of them. They're different in a lot of ways, but they are the same in that regard, that they have great levels of endurance. And so, and then I have the heroes of faith that...
Like the apostles.
Paul is one of my greatest heroes in my life. But my greatest hero is Jesus Christ. Because for him to lay his life down and die on the cross like that for me, and then rescue me from the clutches of sin and death, there's no
mean feat.
There's no anything that I can reach. I would go to the hills. I would do for the death. My life is dedicated him for the rest of my life. He is absolutely at the pinnacle of my hero list. He is the greatest hero that has ever walked the face of the earth. Others have come along, Dr. King, John F. Kennedy, these individuals that we have been graced with, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, these individuals that have had humongous impact on our society and our world. Legacy.
Thank you so much for consenting to do the interview and taking your very precious time and spending it with me. I appreciate that.
No, I mean, it was important. One, because I respect Herb so much, right? And if he thinks something is important, it's important to me.